Hi there, today I'm going to show you how to do short rows in a pick and knit slipper pattern. So most of the slippers look something like this. This is a basic slipper. Now the short rows are what makes the elongated toe. So we're going to be knitting in the round, and then when we get to the short row section of the slipper, for every one row that we knit at the back of the slipper, we're going to essentially be knitting 3 at the front of the slipper, and that's what creates that elongated effect. So today I'm working on these blue booties, so that's what my example is going to be. After they're felted, they look something like this. So a little bit different once they're felted. Anyway, but this is the example that we're going to be working on. So we're going to be working 8 stitches in the center of the booty, just at this toe, to make this elongated front of the slipper. So on my second slipper here, I've come to that point. This silver marker indicates the beginning of my round, so that's where I started. I've knit all the way up to this point here, and this is where I'm going to show you how to do the short rows. So depending on your pattern, it may say a different number of stitches, but for this particular pattern, it tells me to knit 2 together, which is fairly standard for a pick and knit pattern, but do follow your pattern. And then we're going to knit 8 stitches, so knit across those 8 center stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll go to our next needle here. 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now we're going to want to knit 2 more times across those 8 stitches. So we're going to want to turn the work around, but before we do that, we want to wrap a stitch. And the reason that we wrap a stitch is because we don't want there to be a gap here. After we've knit 3 rows here and only 1 here, it creates sort of a gap. So in order to avoid that, we're going to wrap a stitch. Now, to do this, we're going to slip a stitch purlwise. We're going to bring our yarn to the front, and then we're just going to put that stitch back onto our left-hand needle, and that stitch has been wrapped. So now you're going to want to turn your work around so that the wrong side is facing you. And with the wrong side facing you, you're going to want to knit back over those 8 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now again, you're going to want to wrap a stitch at this point. So slip a stitch purlwise, bring your yarn to the front, and put your yarn back onto that, put that stitch back onto your left-hand needle again. So now that that stitch has been wrapped, we can turn our work around. The right side should be facing you again, and we're going to go one last time over those 8 stitches. So this is our 3rd time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we've essentially knit these center 8 stitches 3 times because we've turned the work around. Now just continue in your pattern however you normally would. So mine, we're going to knit the next 2 stitches together and then knit till the end of the round. Now your pattern might be different, just follow your pattern, but I'm going to show you what that wrapping of the stitches did. So if we look at this finished boot here, well, it's unfelted, but ready to be felted. All the wrapped stitches are along this ridge here. So you can see that there's no gaps in the knitting. It's nice and tight, and that's the way we want it to look when we wrap the stitches. So that's what wrapping the stitches did. Now if we look at this other pink booty that I showed you earlier, I didn't wrap the stitches on this boot, so it's created some gaping and some holes in the slipper. Now, if you're felting the slipper anyway, it won't make a big difference, but if you're not felting the slipper, that will show and it will make your slipper weaker. So you're gonna wanna wrap your stitches for sure if you have an unfelted slipper pattern. Hopefully this tutorial was helpful. Thank you so much for watching.